the strangers. Believe me when I say, loving me is loving danger. Your heart is bound to break. I walk alone in the night, neath the pale moon. Loving's for the fools. Baby, beware of my bite. I'm alone, I'm alone, I'm a lone wolf. 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 I'm a
creeping through the shadows and the corners of your mind.
don't hide. I hear the call of the wild, whispering my name. No, I can't be tamed. My heart belongs to the night. I'm alone, I'm alone, I'm a lone wolf. 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 I'm a
Alright guys, so we have some big news regarding the internet. Don't worry, don't get too excited, it's not connected yet. Things in Australia tend to move a little freaking slow. By the way, we had ads, let's see how long that lasts for. But yeah, okay, so a little update while I bring up FaceRig and stuff like that. Yes, I have found out apparently my internet has progressed. Okay, but yeah, I'm waiting on the NBN Co guys to ring me up and say, hey, you have NBN available. And I'm like, nah, shit. And then they're like, we'd like to come out and install it. And I'll be like, I'll put the beer on. So yeah, at the end of the day, we're just waiting for that to happen. I'm expecting, what's it, Thursday today, maybe Monday, Tuesday. It's a government branch. They don't move too fast. So, look, it's hopefully sooner rather than later. I did kind of lose my shit at my provider because it's taking so long. So, if he sees this, I apologise for calling you all sorts of names. But yeah, it's frustrating because at the end of the day, yeah, you guys get the idea. Alright, so, okay, we do have some news that's coming out from of New Zealand. High Impact Films has, or it's actually under his High Impact Blogs, has actually gone down and done a video. Squirrel, I think it was Squirrel, actually recommended it to us. Yeah, he did. So guys, if you want to go through and check that out, we'll obviously check that out. Apart from that, obviously Nigel Farage has been trapped on a bus, surrounded by protesters holding milkshakes because milk is no longer racist, apparently. Andrea Lansome has quit the UK government in fresh Brexit blow for Theresa May. Trump walks out of Pelosi and Schumer's meeting after 3 minutes, and we'll get to the reason why on that one. There's obviously a lot of news regarding that. A teen who was homeless scores more than $3 million in college scholarships. A flamingo in Louisiana, Illinois, I think it is, zoo, had to be put down after a child threw a rock at it. The world's smallest McDonald's restaurants for bees opens. Healthy dog was euthanized so it could be buried with its owner. Chicago High School spends $50,000 replacing yearbooks because students decide to troll them. Oh, I love that story. People are trying to, claim that we should teach Stormzy's instead of Mozart. I don't even know what Stormzy is, but I know what Mozart is, so that's that. Final poll before Brexit election. We should actually probably move that up with Nigel Farage. New York Times, pregnancy kills, abortion saves lives. There's going to be a trigger warning on that video because I'm going to get triggered over it. GOP Fred Killer wins Pennsylvania. NYC Department of Education. Individualism is white supremacy. Just obey the groupthink. Alright? No more individualism. They're not even hiding it anymore. Beto O'Rourke spreads falsehoods about Trump. Who's surprised? growing cauliflower in a community garden is colonialism. I'm not shitting you on that. Growing cauliflower is now Be right back, guys. I've got to go and grow some cauliflower. Target sells LGBTQ clothing for children. Okay. British Steel collapses, and obviously Michael Cohen says Trump attorney directed him to lie, which is a story I was supposed to do yesterday, but I didn't see it, and we're going to do it today. So, if you've survived that anima, let's just jump straight into it. Alright, so we might start with Nigel Farage. But yeah. But I don't believe in individualism, I believe in tribalism. Yeah, pretty much. That's exactly what it is. It's... Don't think for yourself now. Just be told what to think. Just do what you're told. Just believe what you're told. Don't think for yourselves anymore. That's basically what it is. It's absolutely insane. We're literally regressing. That's why we call them the regressives, I suppose. But anyway, apart from that, obviously, Satellite, if you're in the chat and you want to jump in, obviously jump into the show. I'm also thinking about maybe moving the show a little forward, guys, by about 2 hours to like 7 o'clock. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comment section as well. I might do a poll or something on Discord or something. Just because that way, when I go to bed, it's earlier, and especially like today, I got to start work in like 5:30 in the afternoon, so it's an early day for me. This little panda works nights, so I'm thinking about moving it forward. Also, that means it'll give us more primetime stuff. But anyway, let's jump into it. Let's get this anima underway. Boy. Alright, Nigel Farage trapped on bus surrounded by protesters holding milkshakes. Arrest them. Just for the love of God, arrest them. Just, if they're threatening... see, this is where I get a little worried. Okay. If they're threatening him, or if they're throwing the milkshakes, arrest them, fine them. Hand them huge fines. You'll find they'll stop throwing the milkshakes. They're probably communist anyway, so they probably can't afford it because they're still living in their mama's basement. Nigel Farage reportedly got stuck on his Brexit Party campaign bus after people armed with milkshakes surrounded him. The politician is said to have refused to leave the vehicle just days after he was covered in a banana and salt caramel milkshake in Newcastle. You know, people always want to go through and blame Trump for the escalating violence that's happening. My question is if it's Trump, why is Nigel Farage copying it? Why are people in the UK, Australia and everything like that copying this as well? If it was just Trump that was dividing America, why is the rest of the world also seemingly more divided? Maybe it's not nothing to do with Trump. Just saying. So the three young men dressed in black with their hoods up. It's Antifa. Call them out. Who do you think it was? All dressed in black, hoods on, probably face masks. Antifa, right? Reportedly spotted in the crowd when the bus arrived at Rockashire, Kent on Wednesday, Kent Live reports. Someone suggested they were carrying milkshakes and Farage was told not to get off the bus, according to the newspaper. Which is weird because you said up here that he supposedly would not leave the vehicle. But he was told not to leave the vehicle. So what is it? The Brexit Party leader is said to have eventually stepped off the vehicle, but didn't venture far to great supporters. Mr. Farage was in Kent visiting Dartford, Graveston and Rockashire ahead of Thursday's EU elections. The politician's security were leaving nothing to chance after he was doused in a $5.25 Five Guys milkshake in Newcastle on Monday. He had just given a speech and was walking along the street when a man hurled a drink at him. Mr. Farage could be heard saying to the security, this is a failure, and how did that happen, as he was ushered back to his car. He later tweeted, sadly, some Remainers have become radicalised to the extent that normal campaigning is becoming impossible. For a civilized democracy to work, you need to lose. You need the losers contest. So, for a civilized democracy to work, you need the losers contest. Politicians not accepting the referendum results to have led us to this. Kind of doesn't make sense, but anyway. Nottingham police later confirmed a 32-year-old man arrested at the scene had been charged with common assault and criminal damage. Former English Defence League leader Tommy Robinson and UKIP candidate Carl Benjamin. By the way, Tommy Robinson is also UKIP. I'm pretty sure he's UKIP. Is he? Is he UKIP? No, he's not UKIP, no. But he's still running for the EU, right? But they love to put that English Defence League and everything, don't they? Have also begun targeted by milkshakes in recent weeks. Yet the guy that threw the milkshake at Tommy Robinson was let off. Work that one out. Look, at the end of the day, we do have photos. Let me see. Doesn't show them, does it? I'm guessing it's Antifa. That's what I'm guessing it is. I'm going to guess it's them. Look, at the end of the day, obviously, when it comes to throwing drinks over people that you don't like, I kind of find it a little bit pathetic, to be honest. You hate someone that much that you got to throw. Like, it's radicalization. It's derangement syndrome. It really, really is. Like, we had an election here in Australia just recently, right? You probably guessed. And not once did I feel like going out and throwing a milkshake at someone. You know, we had all political parties campaigning. They've gone through all the major areas and everything like that. I never once thought, hey, I might travel to the heart of Sydney and throw a milkshake over the Greens. Or Melbourne, or wherever it may be. I never thought about doing any of that. So why the hell is the left doing this? But I don't believe in individualism. I believe in tribalism. I think for myself on what's best for the tribe. Tech companies have turned people into two camps of extreme across the West. I think when it gets to that, people want to make the argument that the right is just as extreme as the left. I don't think it's a right versus left thing anymore. There, three guys. I think it's a postmodernism versus normal person sort of view. I think it's a case of the fact that it's these postmodernism people that have lost it. They just can't handle someone having a bad idea, and I do believe that tech companies are somewhat responsible for that. At the end of the day, it's because they've become rabid animals. Yeah, they have. They literally have. That's the problem they have. But at the end of the day, I think at the end of the day that tech companies are not helping the situation when they go through and they force people to live in these echo chambers. Like, for example, Twitter and stuff like that. If you say anything wrong on Twitter, you get banned, right? So what's left on Twitter is a bunch of progressives. Like, even people that aren't even people that aren't conservative, or even alt-right, even people that aren't, even leftists, even normal left people, like Laura Chen, right? Who's roaming millennial. Well, she's more conservative, I suppose, but roaming millennial. Probably the darling of the internet, right? Hardly says anything wrong, right? Yet there's supposedly banning her from Facebook and all this sort of shit. And, you know, they're watching all these conservatives and, like, yeah, what's going to be left on? It's red versus blue. Well, I don't think it's red versus blue because, like, Dave Rubin, for example, he's copying it. He's copying the censorship too. This is a gay person who, by all means, should be on it, and as far as he's still concerned, is still on the left. Actually, there was a really interesting video. I'll see if I can find it. But yeah, Dave Rubin. He just did an interview a couple of days ago. Here it is here. So he was on the show called Divided. Now this is over in the UK. It's only just been published over the past 3 days. And it's had 181,000. It's on the Sky News network, of course. But here it is here.
Dave Rubin, lovely to see you. You're one of those guys that I've seen so much on a screen that it's refreshing, as you said before, to see you finally in 3 dimensions.
3 dimensions. I can be poked and touched, and I'm real. And
this is why we've got
very
the gap
bizarre.
between us. This is why we've got the gap between us. We're obviously going to spend quite a bit of time talking about the Rubin report in a second, and indeed the way in which you got there. But I just wonder how it feels to be the interviewee rather than the interviewer, to be staring down the barrel of the gun rather than holding the pistol yourself.
Yeah, that might be the question you should be asking me at the end, because so far, so good. Yeah, I like doing this.
From the left, or whether or not you've moved.
Well, they got rid of me, and
Let's talk
So here he
about
is,
that.
yeah.
Kind of moved away from the left, or
So this is an interesting thing. I'm not going to watch the whole video because it goes for 14 minutes. It's a really good video. Guys, if you haven't checked it out, I will post the link now. You should check it out.
whether or not you've moved.
well, they got rid of me, and
Let's talk.
across from someone, looking them in the eye, and figuring out what they think.
I mean, you mentioned a moment ago that you've kind of moved away from the left, or whether or not you've moved.
Well, they got rid of me, and
Let's talk about that. I mean, you were part for a time of the along with the Young Turks. You know, progressive liberals, popular progressive liberals. One has to say, what went wrong?
That's a good question. Yes, look, I've been a lefty my whole life. When I first got into politics was 7th grade. It was during it was 7th or 8th grade during the Dukakis George H.W. Bush presidential election. And we were running a mock campaign in my social studies class, and I was working for the Dukakis campaign. He was the liberal, he was the Democrat. And it was so obvious to me that liberals
Yeah, he actually
and
talks
Democrats
about that
were
in
the
a
good
sec.
guys. They cared about poor people, they cared about minorities.
That's what I'm buying it for.
These were the good guys. Republicans or conservatives were cold, and they only cared about money and taxes, and they didn't care about minorities or anything like that. So my whole life, I mean, I voted for Obama twice. I was on the Young Turks, a pretty far left progressive network. I was part of that thing. And
So what changed your mind?
I mean, there were a couple moments. There were a lot of things just related to accusations that I constantly saw coming from my side that I didn't like. So every argument somehow, everyone that went against progressive think was somehow a racist or a bigot or a homophobe or a transphobe or a name another phobe. Like everybody. And I thought, this can't be right. Even though I was surrounded by a lot of people saying that, I thought, this can't be right. There have to be people on the other side of this argument who have good intentions, who are not the worst of the worst people. So that was one thing, that the arguments became really lazy. Instead of seeing intellectual arguments, I saw just a lot of accusations and slandering and slurring.
Can I please finally tell the truth about why he left the Young Turks? He wanted to make a 6-figure salary to host a 30-minute-a-week show when everyone here, you know, because we work for an independent news company, was getting paid far less while working 12-hour days. That's why Dave Rubin left the company. And now all of a sudden he's getting funded by the Koch brothers, and all of a sudden his opinions are very different. He has no political identity. He is not an honest actor. He is not an intellectual. He is a fraud. That's who Dave Rubin.
Just before he responds to that, I'm pretty sure slander is a thing in America. But listen to him response to this, because this is,
Rubin is.
I mean, quite.
I wish I knew how she really felt. Boy, that's...
But no, quite where to begin. You know, fraud, lazy, avaricious. You know, immoral. You wanted more money.
First off, I never asked for. You know, it's so silly to even, unfortunately, to have to talk about these little nonsensical things, because I like talking about ideas, not about people. I never asked for more money. That's number one. I left. I told them I was leaving, and I left. There were no negotiations. That's it. Actually, my executive producer, who I brought with me, they offered to double his salary if he stayed. So together we would have made more money if we'd stayed. But that has nothing to do with nothing.
Does it make you
I would say
that?
no. It's kind of pathetic, really. I'm not funded by the Koch brothers. I mean, I wish I was funded by the Koch brothers. That would be nice. I wouldn't be wearing H&M underwear. I mean, it's like.
So she went through and claimed that he was after more money and that he's funded by the Koch brothers. And he's literally just debunked both of them. He's not funded by the Koch brothers. and he did not want more money. In fact, they offered his producer more money to stay. I'm just going to say, Dave, if you see this, lawsuit. Just sue them. I'm so over people spreading bullshit rumors about people. But anyway, we're getting off track. We should probably keep going.
This is what I'm talking about.
This is
It's
what I
that
wanted
sort
to
of
see.
Endless hysteria, attacking people, attacking motives. Nobody's interested in that anymore. I really don't think people are interested in that.
Well, let's talk then about the Rubin report. Hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, and that basic clip there, the reason I played it, sums up the way people feel about the left at the moment. The left is no longer just left. The left is progressive left. Everybody, yeah, they are a left-wing Alex Jones, they are. Although I think actually Alex Jones has more credibility than they do actually. But anyway, and that's really saying something, because I reckon half of what Alex says is crap. But anyway, look, I props to Alex for doing what he does and being able to do a 4-hour live show every day. Build a network, build an empire that he has, been on syndicated radio. Look, Alex, dude, if you ever see this video, props to you. I think 50% of what Alex says is theatre, 50% is facts. But that 50% that he's saying, I think, is more truthful than the Young Turks is putting out. Negativity rules all this way, post-info, tech, social media. Yeah, it does. But what I was going to say was, as for that, Rubin summed it up really, really well. The left now is just progressives. It's a whole bunch of people that are just sitting there going on about, identity politics, this whole postmodernism and all this sort of shit. Everybody else has been lumped in as the right. So in the right now, I'm using those quotation marks, you have everybody that's a liberal, classical liberal, centrist like me, conservatives, the alt-right, all of them are just lumped in together. And we're all considered Republicans now. Like, I hated Bush, mainly because he was a warmonger and also because of what he stood for. And I always thought that the Republicans, like Dave said, I thought the Republicans were a joke. I literally had arguments with people debating them about how much of a joke Bush was. Who would have thought 10, 15, whatever years down the track that I would have been lumped in with the Republicans and the Conservatives? Like, to me, the left was pro-free speech, freedom of choice, freedom of association, guns, just liberty of groups, liberty of decisions. Now that's the Conservatives, and the left is literally going around and doing what they can to become the alt-right. But, yeah. The extreme right is its own, I think. I would say that's true. I do know a few people on the alt-right, and there's actually Dave Rubin had a video that was put up a couple of days ago, I believe, also, where he was actually talking to someone who is he calls him the Willy Wonka of the politics, and he went through and he was describing the alt-right, the conservatives, and his argument was that the conservatives want to go through and to rebuild everything, when the alt-right just wants to blow everything up and rebuild the whole thing from scratch, where the conservatives are more interested in going through and actually trying to save what's good and just demolishing the bad stuff. And that's fairly accurate. I do think that's a fairly accurate statement. But like I say, look, at the end of the day, the progressive left, the left now, which is basically all it is, just become a bunch of rabbinists. Like, you look at like Anita Sarkeesian in this thing. Like, where's that clip again?
But that has nothing to do with nothing. Because so silly.
Political identity funded by the Koch brothers, and all of a sudden he's far less while working 12-hour days. That's why Dave Rubin left the company.
But just listen to her go on. She comes across as bonkers.
And all of a sudden his opinions are very different. He has no political identity. He is not an honest actor. He is not an intellectual. He is a fraud. That's who Dave Rubin is.
Like, just listen to her. And everything he just said before that was The left, they just call your names, they just shut you down, they just call you racist, homos. Like, just listen to her in that whole statement, that whole sentence. She just literally proved his point. And he's right. It's absolutely insane. But guys, look, apart from that, obviously, let us know what your thoughts are in the comment section regarding this topic, this video. To be honest, I kind of find it disgusting, getting back to the main topic. I find it disgusting that people will throw milkshakes at people just because they have a different point of view. How social media works is it pushes people into the extreme left or right. It doesn't help much the center. Yeah, the center's pretty much disappeared, man. Everyone took a minute out of their day to smile or pass a positive message. It collectively make humans better. Unfortunately, people thrive on negativity. Yeah, it's true. I don't know if passing notes, I don't know if we can save civilization by that means. We collectively need to spread our love and positivity. If everyone did what you just said, squirrel, the only way you fight the far left or far right is the only way you fight. Yeah. To be honest, I'm not really worried about the far right, to be honest. I don't think they will ever get power. I've told them this to their faces, literally. I'm more worried about the far left than I am about the far right. And to be honest, and also if you went through and started actually going through and started having debates and actually started talking about issues instead of just shutting people down, you find that a lot of people in the far right would actually come back towards the center. Like you say, shutting down debate, shutting down people from platforms like YouTube, Twitter, and stuff like that, that's causing them to go into these echo chambers, which is then causing them to be radicalized. But yeah. But like I say, guys, let us know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Alright. So while we're actually uploading a video regarding the Brexit elections, let's talk about this as well, but this will be a separate video that goes up. Final poll before Brexit, before elections day, has Brexit Party lead on a 37%, Conservative collapse to 7%. So Nigel Farage's Brexit Party has dramatically increased its lead in the polls with one day before the European election, a survey shows. According to the latest YouGov survey, which, let's face it, surveys have never been right lately, the Brexit Party is now polling at 37%, with its closest rival, the Liberal Democrats, to 19%. In a stark contrast, the two establishment parties, Labour and Conservatives, have fallen to historical lows, with Labour polling at 13% and the Tories at just 7%. Perhaps the most dramatic statistic for the Conservative Party is the breakdown of voters who voted for the Conservative Party in the 2017 general election and who they intend to vote for in the European elections tomorrow. A staggering 65% of former Conservative voters say they will now back the Brexit Party in the EU elections. Only 16% of those who backed the Conservatives 2 years ago intend to do so again. Centre-right never tells the truth at polls. No. This represents a total. This represents a total collapse of Conservative vote. Perhaps unsurprising, given Prime Minister Theresa May's handling of Brexit negotiations, with her unpopular withdrawal bill rejected by Parliament on 3 occasions so far. The Prime Minister and then entered negotiations with Labour and Jeremy Corbyn, which drew further condemnation from her party as Labour wanted to remove several of Theresa May's red lines, including remaining in the custom unions with the EU. The final blow came yesterday when Theresa May offered the possibility of a second referendum. Fuck me. Really? Possibility of a second referendum if her deal is passed by the House of Commons at the fourth time of asking in early June. The latest poll numbers increase pressure on Miss May to stand down and announce a leadership contest in hopes of a new fight may be able to steady the ship, deliver Brexit and win back voters. The figures are not much better for Labour, with only 31% of the Labour voters planning to support the party on Thursday. Meanwhile, a combined 44% of Labour voters have switched to either the Greens Party or the Liberal Democrats, with 13% have switched to the Brexit Party. This means that Nigel Farage's plea that he would target Labour supporters as well as delusional Conservative voters appears to have paid off. The Brexit Party so far appears to be successfully taking votes away from two major party primaries. Other beneficiaries have been the Greens and the Lib Dems, both of which openly back remaining in the EU. Really? The Liberal Dems want to remain in the EU? Really? With the Lib Dems even running under the slogan "Bollocks to Brexit." It appears that Brexit is the key dividing issue in the country, and that parties with a strong view either way are set to vote share increase the polls tomorrow. People in the comments, not a British citizen, I would vote Brexit. I'm a Brit myself. There is a good British folk who want to get out the asylum. That's the EU. Englishmen living in North America. Trump, Robinson, Farage, Benjamin, Orban will be the path forward. This is just a liberal attack. It's not just a liberal attack. It's the Marxist, feminist, PC, pro-EU ideology, global elites. Those 7% must be unhinged. There's always and will always be a percentage of mentally ill in our midst. I don't know what he means by that, but anyway. But yeah. Look, at the end of the day, do I believe polls? No, look, obviously polls are polls. I don't generally take much notice of them. Look, they're okay for obviously going through and sort of, like, if you want to sort of get a fair idea of how things are running, but I wouldn't go putting a lot of stock in them. Do I think the Brexit Party will win? Yes, I do. Both groups are also actually out. Both groups are also out for actual blood. Yeah, true. I do think Brexit is going to win this. Win the EU elections. I don't know if Nigel Farage is actually running in the same areas as Carl Benjamin or Sargon of Akkad or Tommy Robinson or any of these sort of guys, or Count Dankula. I think they're running in different areas, maybe. I don't know. I'd have to check that. I kind of hope Carl Benjamin and Count Dankula and Tommy Robinson, I kind of hope they do well. And at the end of the day, yeah, I kind of think that they're going to do well. And I think this is why I get worried with Nigel Farage. Like, I know he's supposed to be this Brexit man and everything like that, but is he actually going to do anything? Or is he just another establishment shill? That's what I really worry about. To me, he seems like I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But I do think that Nigel Farage's Brexit Party will do well. I also think Sargon and Tommy Robinson are going to do well. Whether or not they win, that's a different thing. But I do think they're going to do well. So, see how it goes. Chats. Like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you very much, Squirrel. Lost faith in polls, to be honest. I bets on Nigel Farage. Yeah, I'd say Nigel Farage is going to do well. That would be my bet as well. Establishment, my assumption. Yeah, I get worried with Farage. He built UKIP. True. But then he refused to do anything with the EU or anything like that. So, yeah. Like I say, is he actually going to do something? That's what I want to know. Now, I'm just going to move the chat over. Because... there we go. Alright. But yeah, look, at the end of the day, guys, I would say, yeah, Sargon and Count Dankula should join Nigel. He doesn't want anything to do with them. That's why he went and made, like, to be honest, my understanding was he had every opportunity to go and join them, but he decided to go and make his own party. So, yeah. Like, he could have joined back on UKIP, but he didn't. So, you know, makes me wonder why. I think he does have a problem with Sargon. So, don't mind me, I'm resizing my chat box. Properties, 690. There we go, that should be it. Oh. But yeah, I think he has a problem with Sargon and stuff like that. So, yeah, see what happens. But let us know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Actually, while we're talking about Brexit, let's quickly also add this to the other video as well. Andrea Leadsom has quit the UK government in fresh Brexit blow for Theresa May. Theresa May was dealt a significant blow on Wednesday night when one of her top cabinet ministers resigned over the British PM's approach to Brexit. Andrea Leadsom, the leader of the House Commons and prominent Brexiteer, said she could no longer carry out her duties because she fundamentally opposes May's latest Brexit bill. I stay in cabinet to shape and fight for Brexit. There have been some uncomfortable compromises along the way, but you've had my determined support and loyalty in your efforts to deliver Brexit as our shared goal, Leadsom said in a resignation letter to May, which she posted on Twitter. But Leadsom said she could no longer see a way forward with the new Brexit deal May offered on Tuesday. I no longer believe that our approach will deliver the referendum results. Leadsom's resignation could trigger further defections from May's ailing government ahead of the Prime Minister's fourth attempt to get her Belgravia Brexit deal passed. May responded that evening with a letter of her own, thanking Leadsom for her service and saying that she disagreed with her concerns. I do not agree with you on the deal which we negotiated with the European Union means the United Kingdom will not become a sovereign country. If the deal is passed, the UK will leave the European Union, May wrote. That's a lot of crap, but anyway. On Twitter, Deputy Leader of the Opposition Labour Party, Tom Watson, described the timing as an odd choice just before the European elections. So, yeah, she's losing support, and she's losing it fast because she's gutless. She's got no balls. I mean, UKIP should disband and go under the Brexit party. Yeah, but I don't think he wants anything to do with them. I don't think Nigel Farage will have anything to do with Sargon. I'm pretty sure he's actually said that he doesn't like Sargon, okay? But I'd have to check that out. Yeah, but this is the thing, right? If he wanted to achieve that goal, if he wanted to fight the cause, why wouldn't he join Brexit? Why wouldn't he join UKIP? Like, this is UKIP's his party that he started. Why go off and make another party? So, yeah. But I don't know, guys. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Alright. So, we're going to talk about this. So, alert New Zealanders, they're coming for your doors for wrongthink. This is a video that's...
This video is from the YouTube...
That's actually been suggested by Squirrel. So we're going to go through and play this for you guys now.
YouTube channel, Rahara K. It was published on May 5th, 2019. And this guy is visited by Jacinda Ardern's jackboot New Zealand police thugs regarding the incident at Christchurch.
Just want to make sure we get... Just wonder what you guys can come on. I invite you on. Okay. So what's going on? What's...
You.
I'm Nick. Yeah, I'm Nick Bush. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Reason we're here, it's basically down to the recent events in Christchurch with the shooting there, right?
Yeah.
Based on that, sort of a number of people have been identified of we've been tasked to go and speak to. So you're one of those people. That's
Really?
why we're here. Yeah.
So what specifically
That's
What's
what I
that?
want to talk to you about, but
No worries,
I'm
Squirrel.
not really comfortable discussing this with you while I'm being filmed.
A number of people have been identified.
I'm not really comfortable, ready to discuss this while I'm being filmed. I wonder why. Maybe because you know it's going to end up on YouTube, right? Is that the possibility? Just putting it out there.
Regard to the Christchurch shooting, and these cops have been tasked with talking to those people. What this usually amounts to is an investigation of people who commented on social media about the Christchurch incident, and the New Zealand government has money to make and prisons to fill. So naturally, they have to go out and harass the public. And this cop is probably not comfortable discussing this while being filmed because he doesn't want it to be broadcast to everybody in New Zealand that Jacinda's task force is closely monitoring the social media posts of all New Zealanders. There are 3 rules when considering talking to cops that can save you tons of grief down the road. Rule number 1, never talk to cops. Rule number 2, never talk to cops. And rule number 3, when in doubt, refer to rules 1 and 2. Now, if you decide not to employ the first 3 rules and want to talk to them anyway, never talk to them without recording the interaction.
I'm not really comfortable discussing this with you while I'm being filmed.
This cop is called a public servant, but he's made it clear that he wants to have a private conversation about a public event. An event whose mere distribution of a recording obtained from social media has led to the caging of those who distributed that recording. And the funny thing about cops is they don't like it when there are recordings and evidence of interactions. So naturally, this cop wants to have a chat in private.
No, I think you should be because, you know, I mean, you've come here on a Sunday morning.
Yes.
It's 10:15, isn't it? Right?
Yeah.
And you've come here onto my property and now you want to discuss something.
Yes.
So I think we need to get a record of this and make sure that whatever you're doing coming around here, and I notice you've got your gun on your hip there, and presume the lady here's also got a firearm.
No, she doesn't.
Oh, great. Okay, well, but hope you've still got one. So you come around here, and you're, well, I'd say, intimidating with a firearm, right? And if you want to, if you'd like to talk to me, that's fine,
Yeah.
But I'd like everyone else in New Zealand to know what you're coming to talk to people about, right? And what's the issue, especially on a Sunday morning,
So, are you willing to speak to me off camera or not?
This cop really doesn't want there to be a recording of this investigation regarding Christ.
So my response to that would be no. Because I tell you now, cops, especially in Australia, have watchers. And what they do is, if there's something that they might need a recording of, or something that they think might go a little hairy, they tap their phone, they tap their watch, and that activates a recording. So it's weird that a cop, especially in Australia, has no problems recording you. Not to mention, body cam footage and everything like that. That's okay. But when you want to record them, that's all of a sudden that's not available. It's a little weird to me. It's yeah. By the way, if you don't know about that watch thing, check it out. It's actually legit.
Christchurch. And why is that?
No, I'm not. I think it's important that people understand the direction New Zealand is going, right?
All right. Okay.
And
Just give us an overview,
put the police
right?
officers. Okay, I'll find if you're becoming that sort of.
Okay.
What time? So you've obviously, I understand that you're upset that we have.
I'm not upset. I'm just interested in what the police have become,
All right.
and
Okay.
what they're becoming
Just
a
hear me out
suppressant agent, politically. They've been
Hold on a
politicised.
sec, just
No,
wait.
no. I think that you guys need to realise. What did you guys join the police for?
It's not about
What
that.
did-
All right. Listen.
Isn't it?
Just hear
He has a watch. I'm wondering if it's one of those type of watches that I told you about, actually.
me out because
You have to
I'm
ask
not-
yourself
we're not
some
gonna spend too
questions.
long here, all right? If you're not willing to speak to us off camera, then we won't speak to you. We'll leave. Okay?
Yeah.
He only wants to have an off-camera conversation. He's not willing to have anybody else hear what he's got to say. So there must be a reason for that. And don't think for a second that there's anything suspicious going on here, guys. Nothing at all. Nothing to see. And it's more than that the cops are just politicized, they're being politically weaponized. And those weapons are ironically pointed at those the cops claim to be protecting and serving. It's clear that this guy is being visited by the Gestapo for wrongthink, and the armed enforcers are there to collect data from him for further investigation, which is not designed to turn out well in this man's favor. Cops are trained to lie, and they find that lying is better done off camera.
And so what will happen after that?
I don't know. Look,
What will most likely
what's
happen
happened
is
is
another officer will come during the week. Obviously, if you said
Well,
you're
Sunday morning,
coming
you
on
know.
Sunday
well,
morning.
when is a good time?
What's a good time for what? For another officer to come and tell this?
Well, when's a good time for us to actually come around and fringe on rights and possibly try and get you to incriminate yourself or threaten you while you're not filming us? Probably never. Just saying. I'm probably always going to have the camera on me. Like I have cameras on me too. Don't worry, I have GoPros and stuff that I can use to record if I ever get visited by the cops.
Guy that they don't want to be recorded either? And then will that law enforcer say the same things these badge thugs are saying? Will they then get stuck in a loop of showing up and not talking while the camera's rolling?
Well, a good time is when you want to talk. If you want to talk to me, we want to be able to. I would like, instead of you coming here and not in secret, but in sort of like, if you want to talk to people in New Zealand, then it should be open, right? And tell people exactly what you're asking them.
That's what we're here for. We're here to talk to you openly, but not like this. Not with
Why not?
being recorded.
So we're here to talk to you openly.
Do the cops over in New Zealand wear body cameras? So they can record you, but you can't record them. Kind of weird. Like I said, I don't have a problem with a lot of cops. I have a lot of good relations with police officers. But I think this guy is just doing his job. He has just been told what to do, and he's just doing his job.
But not that openly. We are here on your property to talk to you on our terms. Forget that.
Why not? Because you're what? Are you scared that you might act a bit too intimidatingly, or
Am I being intimidating?
Never trust a soft-spoken, mild-mannered cop. Never. There's always an ulterior motive with cops. They're not there for your benefit. They're there for the benefit of the state.
well, you've come here on a Sunday morning with a firearm.
When's
That's
a good time?
intimidating.
When is a good time?
And especially when you told me you said, look, you've come here to discuss the Christchurch shootings, and
No,
I
didn't say
No,
that.
you said,
I said
people have been
it's-
identified, right? And
Anyway, I'm not
how
gonna get into
have
this.
you
If you're-
identified me? So you've been, I presume it's Facebook,
I'm
right?
happy to discuss that with you, but
Yeah.
not on camera. So
No, well,
I'll
I'm
ask-
not.
I'll ask you again, are you
I'm
willing-
super important that people understand what. So you can become political agents to.
Walking away from a conversation while a person is talking is pretty unprofessional.
It is.
Okay, so come back whenever you like. We'll. Bye bye.
This is what happens when we give up a little essential liberty for the promise of a little temporary security. And when we do that, we deserve neither liberty nor security. It's probably not a good idea for this guy to have told the cops that they can come back whenever they like. I just hope he keeps the
that
cameras
was a bad
charged
idea.
and ready to go for the next visit, because there will be another visit. They don't let things like this die, and they'll never let a good crisis go to waste.
Well, that was interesting. So that only. Yeah. Well. My God, what is New Zealand coming to?
Leave your comments about this for the world, the Google Thought Police, and Jacinda Ardern's jackboot thugs in the comments section below.
So yeah, very good video. Guys, if you haven't seen or subscribed to High Impact Vlogs, he has a few channels. It's High Impact Vlogs, High Impact Flicks, I believe it is. Very worthwhile subscribing to both those channels. He does a really, really good job, and I do love his videos. I hadn't seen this one. It was only published a couple of days ago, though, yesterday, so that's why I haven't seen it yet. But yeah, really good. Go check him out, guys. He's really cool. I might also try and reach out to the guy that was in the recording. He did link to his YouTube channel. So I might actually go through and see if I can get him to come on and have a chat to us. So yeah, but yeah, look, as for this, look, guys, always record the cops. Always record the cops that turn up. I am in the midst of putting security cameras around my house. Half of that is to record anyone from Antifa. The other half is to record the police officers or whoever it may be that turns up. And I want to make sure the cameras have microphones so that they can actually hear. And that's why I'm doing it too. But yeah, if you ever get visited by the police, make sure there's a record of it, and make sure you have a record, not just body cam footage, because they can always decline to give you that. And like I say, even if you have to do it covertly, obviously, keep in confines of the law, so to speak. But at the end of the day, yeah, like even if it's like a one-party state or something like that, and you can do it covertly, just upload it to YouTube. Even send it to us. We'll always run the story. We're always looking for stuff to run. Alright, so, thanks for putting it out there. Volume, yeah, I've done that already. Unless you're unless you're a Freemason, then you get the free police professional courtesy. Like if you're drinking and driving, no fine, they drive you home instead. I've never been, to be honest, intimidated by a cop with a gun. That's standard practice in Canada. Yeah, I've never really had a problem with, a cop walking around with a gun. I've seen them in Australia doing it. I don't have a problem with it. If he pulled it out and was aiming it at me for no apparent reason, then I would say that was threatening. I think that might be a little hyperbolic on that guy's part, but yeah. I am intimidated. They are different to us, US if not recorded. Oh yeah, okay. Gaming podcast, Recamp are pretty good police and have automatic weapons. RCMP. I'm presuming that's like Royal Canadian, Mounted Police, maybe. There's the city cops that sometimes I get a bad vibe from. Yeah. The police out in the country and all that are pretty good too here. Where I live, they should be recorded. I always record. I've been like, if I don't like them, cam, leave. Yeah, that's what I would have said too. I would have said that every time you guys turn up, you'll be going to be recorded. If you don't like that, then don't turn up anymore. What's wrong with the police in New Zealand and the AU and Europe? I don't know what's wrong. They're just doing as their jobs. They've been doing as they've been told, man. And Jacinta Ardern over in New Zealand is a far leftist. It's what you get when you get Labour in charge. Australia was really, really lucky to dodge that bullet that we had on the election, to be honest. Our cops are weak, but at the same time, they don't act this odd. I've actually once been defended by a cop when my girlfriend lied about me and the cops caught her in the lie. Yeah, I've had him defend me too. They asked me if I wanted to press charges when I was younger. Yeah, not all cops are bad. No, that's true. I've had some good run-ins with police officers. By all means, we're not saying that all cops are bad. And like I said, I don't think this cop here is a bad cop either. I think at the end of the day, he is trying to do his job. And he has been put in a situation where he has been told what to do by his powers that be that have come up from, for example, by Jacinta Ardern and her thugs. So I think they've been told by the police commissioner to go and investigate these guys, check these guys out. And it's probably going to be similar to what we would have seen over in the UK, where they're like telling people to stop being, thought police. And yeah. Not all police are bad. Yep, awesome. Always record. A lot of them are just people, and main issues, they give them quotes they need to meet. Quotas, yeah. That creates conflict of interest and quality arrests. Yeah. See, this is the thing, right? Police have no problems recording you. So I think they think you should have a problem with recording with police. So, yeah, I think he did right to turn around. I agree, he should not tell them to come back anytime, because they will. He's literally given them that permission now. But yeah. Good cops don't mind being recorded. Yeah, squirrel. That, or he knows what he's about to say is not right. he knows that it's going to go up on the internet and he's going to get exposed for it and possibly lose his job. So, yeah. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police are more separate from government, I think, above. Yeah, true. But guys, let us know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. What are your thoughts on this? Would you have recorded it? Would you have would you have stuck to your guns? Personally, I would have. Do you think at the end of the day that they're going to ever have that off conversation, or do you think it's always going to be recorded? I imagine they're probably going to try and drag him down to the police station next to do question. In that case, he just basically has to ask for a lawyer, and that way he's got a witness or something. But I would say the next step that they're going to do is probably drag him down to the police station for questioning, because that way he won't be able to record it. But yeah, ask for police, ask for a lawyer or something.
Published on May.
Yeah, I would start looking into your rights, man, if I was this guy. But there's what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Alright, so the next story. Trump walks out of Pelosi and Schumer after 3 minutes. This headline's a little misleading, but we'll get into it. President Trump abruptly blew up a scheduled meeting with Democrat congressional leaders on Wednesday, lashing out at Speaker Nancy Pelosi for accusing him of covering up and declaring that he could not work with them until they stopped investigating him. And that's what it's about. Nancy Pelosi and all that are continuing to push this whole impeachment thing. Trump's like, stop impeaching me. Stop trying to arrest me. To be honest, I get his anger. I get his frustration over this. He then marched onto the Rose Garden where reporters had been gathering and delivered a statement blistering with anger as he demanded the Democrats get these phony investigations over with. He said they could not legislate and investigate at the same time. We're going to go down one track at a time, he said. Do they have the... here it is here.
Along pretty well there, but things are going along pretty well there, but a large group delegation headed by one of the most respected men and highest officials of China will be coming in today. They start at 5 o'clock, and they'll see what they can do. But our alternative is an excellent one. It's an alternative I've spoken about for years.
Okay, that's not... Here it is here. Sorry, that's another one video. Let's try this video.
So I came here to do a meeting on infrastructure with Democrats, not really thinking they wanted to do infrastructure or anything else other than investigate. And I just saw that Nancy Pelosi, just before our meeting, made a statement that we believe that the President of the United States is engaged in a cover-up. Well, it turns out I'm the most, and I think most of you would agree to this, I'm the most transparent president probably in the history of this country. And instead of walking in happily into a meeting, I walk in to look at people that had just said that I was doing a cover-up. I don't do cover-ups. You people know that probably better than anybody.
So I get Trump's anger. I get Trump's frustration over this. I really do. I'm not saying that what he did was right. But look, to be honest, it's frustrating. It really, really is.
This is...
It's frustrating because at the end of the day, he's been clear. They've investigated him more than anybody. And they still keep proceeding with this. But Trump denounces Democrat investigations and Mueller probe in the Rose Garden. I don't do cover-ups, the president said, responding to House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's comments earlier. President Donald Trump delivered an extensive communication of Special Counsel Robert Mueller's investigation during a highly unusual appearance in the White House Rose Garden on Wednesday, announcing that he would not work with the congressional Democrats as long as they persist in investigating him. This whole thing was a takedown attempt of the President of the United States, Trump said, slamming House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's comments earlier that he was engaged in a cover-up. And he's right. I'm sorry, but it's ridiculous. It really, really is. So, Speaker, we believe the President engaged in a cover-up. Okay.
It was a very positive...
Site needed. So, yeah, linked source.
meeting, a respectful sharing of ideas, and I think a very impressive presentation by our chairs. We do believe that it's important for to follow the facts. We believe that no one is above the law, including the President of the United States, and we believe that the President of the United States is engaged in a cover-up, and that was the nature of the meeting.
So there she is there saying it. Look, at the end of the day, this is just Trump derangement syndrome. Oh, Trump won't work with us. Yeah, because you accuse him of being covering up. He wants to go through and get shit done, and all you guys want to do is sit there and talk about frigging Russia. Is anyone wondering why he's getting frustrated? Like, yeah, like it's just Pelosi speaking out of her ass. It really, really is.
Respectful sharing.
Pelosi there referencing her meeting at the White House.
But yeah, look, at the end of the day, I would say, look, I don't blame Trump for, hang on guys, give me a sec, this might be important. Alright guys, sorry, I thought it might have been the NBN. Wasn't, it was someone else. I just told them to call me back later. But yeah, look, at the end of the day, as for Pelosi, look, she's speaking out of her ass. And I get this. I get why Trump is frustrating. I really, really do. Interesting, I spot none less. I don't get that, but anyway. But like I say, yeah, look, at the end of the day, is anyone blaming Trump for getting frustrated over this? Probably not. But I don't know. We'll see. Like, can't Americans just... Can't the Democrats just put their shit aside? Just work with Trump and get things like infrastructure and everything else done? Instead of sitting around talking about freaking Russia all the time. Talk about infrastructure. Talk about schooling. Talk about prison reform. Talk about the wall. Well, they won't do that, but you know what I mean. There's so many other things that they probably would be interested in doing. But no, let's talk about Russia. So I get why Trump's frustrated. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Alright. So... a teenage who was homeless scores more than $3 million in college scholarships. So the stress of a senior year can be overwhelming, combined with the challenges at home, and it can derail any high school student's academic career. Memphis High School senior Tupac Mosley maintained a 4.3 GPA, scored a 31 on his ACT, and was named valedictorian, all while dealing with the death of his father and the lack of a permanent house. His accomplishments earned him dozens of colleagues' scholarships worth more than $3 million. It's honest and blessing, he told CNN's New Day. Mosley had set a personal goal of reaching $1 million in scholarships in an effort to do the best for my school. When the offers started coming in, it said I wanted to beat $1 million. Can we now talk about how people in America are not repressed anymore? Here is a young black man who is given every opportunity to go through and $3 million in scholarships. Can we debunk this narrative that he is oppressed now, Democrats? There's no cover up. That's why he left. Yeah, exactly. I get it. Yeah. But like, he is a young black man who's got no permanent address. He's lost his dad. He's got $3 million in college scholarships. Can we put this whole America's racist because of oppression to bed now? But, you know, let us know your thoughts. Flamingo in Illinois Zoo had to be put down after a child threw a rock at it. The Miller Park Zoo flamingo was euthanized Monday after an elementary school student threw a rock at the animal's exhibit. A representative from the Bloomington, Illinois Zoo told CNN affiliate WMBD the rock broke the flamingo's leg and caused injuries that led to it put down. The zoo said it was working with the student's family to make sure that this is a learning experience. The Greater Flamingo exhibit at the zoo opened in June 2016, according to the city of Bloomington. According to the University of Michigan, greater flamingos are found in the Middle Eastern countries like Iran, Turkey, and Afghanistan, as well as areas across West Africa, South America, and throughout Europe. They're often hunted across the Middle East and Africa as their eggs are often captured for profit. They can live up an average of 30 years, according to the university, with those in activity sometimes reaching 60 years old. I don't know why, if it had a broken leg, they had to put it down. Can't they just, like, cast it or whatever? Can't they, I don't get what you mean by that doesn't pay the bills, but yeah. Can't they just put it in like a cast or something and, you know, let it set and heal? I don't, yeah. But anyway. We might actually record this one because it's actually an interesting story. So Smalls, world's smallest McDonald's restaurant for bees is now open. Traveling the world is great because it enables you to have your eyes open to all sorts of things that you don't see at home. However, there are 3 things that are contained in this life that you'll find them nowhere, the world over: death, taxes, and McDonald's. As such, we shouldn't even really be surprised that the fast food chain has now opened a restaurant for bees. The McHive is touted as the world's smallest McDonald's, Macca's, which isn't surprising really, given the size of the beehive. The restaurant is completed with impressive detail, including signature seating, drive-through bays, and of course the famous golden arches. However, while it may look like just a tiny Macca's, is in fact a functional beehive, not a restaurant. That means no till worker, beef burgers, oh my god, really? Double bees burgers or banana milkshakes. Oh my god, please stop. So what's the point of the thing? Well, the tiny designer is designed as a tribute to the Golden Arches, or the global chain's Swedish restaurant, some of which have beehives on their roofs. The initiative started on one of the country's outlets had begun to swarm across the country, and it's hoped that McHive can help create further buzz about the concept. Oh my god, please stop. I heard feeding them shrimp keeps the pink colour. Really? They're on their endangered list. Oh, okay, pink flamingos, yeah. They are quite pretty, actually, yeah. Look, at the end of the day, obviously, it's kind of good that this is happening. Look, this is obviously just more of a McDonald's gimmick than anything. Some guys obviously want to go through and make a McDonald's beehive. They've obviously given him permission because it's good PR. So at the end of the day, yeah, look, obviously beehives are important. So at the end of the day, yeah, it's so now it's squirrels having it, and 3 guys are having a debate as to whether they're on the endangered list. Let us know in comments. But like I say, yeah, as for this, yeah, I don't think there's, yeah, I think this is a good thing. I think this is more a PR stunt. Yeah, so, yeah. Good on them, I suppose. But yeah, let us know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Healthy dog was euthanized so it could be buried with its owner. I don't understand this, but anyway. Emma, a healthy Shih Tzu mix, was euthanized to fulfill her late owner's dying wish that the dog be put down and then laid to rest with her. The dog arrived on the Chesterfield County Animal Shelter in Chesterfield, Virginia on March 8th after her owner's death, where she stayed for 2 weeks. During that time, the shelter was in contact with the executor of the dead woman's estate, trying to keep the dog alive. We did suggest they could sing the dog over the numerous occasions. They could sing the dog? What? Because it's a dog, we could easily find a home and rehome, said Kara Jones, manager of the Chesterfield Animal Services. On March 22nd, the executor of the owner's estate came to the shelter and got the dog. The spokesman for the Chesterfield County Police told CNN the shelter again offered to have the dog signed over and be adopted out, but the executor denied. Emma was then taken to the local veterinarian, euthanized, and then taken to a pet cremation center in Richmond, Virginia. WWBT reported her ashes were placed in an urn and returned to the representative of the woman's estate. Yeah, I would have kept the dog alive too. I think this is kind of sick and disgusting, but anyway. Alright, hysteria. Oh my god, really? Chicago high school spends over $50,000 replacing the yearbook because some students did the "it's okay" hand sign. So a school in Chicago has spent over $50,000 in replacing a yearbook because some students displayed the "okay" hand sign. Yes, really. The administration at the Oak Park and River Forest High School announced it will spend a total of $53,794, I'm not joking about that, to replace the 1,750 copies of the tablet after staff found 18 photos of students making the upside down hand sign. So it's not the OK's hand sign then. If it's upside down, that's the punch game, right? That's what that is. That's the despite officials noting that various races, ethnicities, genders, and grades were pictured making the sign, an obvious fact that they were playing the circle game, that's what it was, the circle game, a gesture was treated as a symbol of white supremacy, even though supposedly different races and genders did this. Wow, really? The yearbook must be replaced to avoid potential subjecting our students to this trauma. Oh my fucking god. We are concerned that the gesture will become more closely associated with the white supremacy in future. Publishing the photos in questions could not only harm students today, but could subject subjects to potential a lifetime of questioning or penalty from colleges' employers, said the superintendent, Jolyon Pidden Arms. As we exclusively documented, teenagers who flashed the OK hand gesture, but it's not the OK hand gesture, it's the circle game hand gesture, but anyway, are not signaling their racism, they are playing the circle game. Cool, so just leave it. Don't spend the $50,000 reprinting all the books. Where the OK hand sign is displayed below the waist to demonstrate someone's attention. Any idiot with a summary knowledge of the youth culture would know this. TikTok, an app frequently by teenagers, is full of kids doing the OK hand sign. None of them are dangerous white supremacists. The notion that the OK hand sign is the secret code for white supremacists was a hoax invented by 4chan trolls to trick the media into believing this stunt. And it sort of got way out of control, but anyway. Since then, the media has completely legitimized this absurd notion afforded by its breathless hysteria coverage and controversing fake controversies over the harmless gesture. Last week, a verified Twitter journalist threatened to contact people's employers because they did the OK hand sign. Oh my god, it is literally just derangement syndrome now. The welcome to Clown World, it really, really is. A report by Chicago Cubs fan who was banned for flashing up the OK sign during a television broadcast. NBC News blurred out the image of the offensive hand gesture. Gay, libertarian, atheist, British television presenter Stephen Fry was even accused of dog whistling for white supremacists. Oh my god. Because he did the OK sign to promote mental health awareness. Hysteria runs rampant. Welcome to the clown world. Oh my god. Really? Look, at the end of the day, it's a joke. It's an absolute joke. It's a joke that they would actually run this seriously, but... And this is probably what? This is what? I'm guessing a public school, if I had to guess. Do they have $50,000 to waste on spending it on redoing books? But anyway. They aren't even getting the memes right. I know. Tell me about it. Like, if you're going to at least comment on memes, at least get it right. The circle game is used to punch the other kid in the leg if he saw it. Exactly. That's what it is. Like, I have 30-something-year-old guys at work who do it. It's... Where I work is very immature, but it's still fun. When I was a kid, you'd look at him in the face and it'd be like, you won the horse race. When he looks at your circle hand sign, you hit him in the leg and say, Charlie. Okay, we just used to just punch each other. We used to just put it on below your waist. And then, if they noticed it, you just punch them. That's all we used to do. We were, really... Yeah. We were, really boring, I suppose. But look, I find it really stupid that a school is spending $50,000 and over $50,000 in replacing these books. Chances are they don't have this money. Chances are it's a public school. So I would say, look, yeah, this is... It's absolutely absurd. This is Clown World. It really, really is. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Alright, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We've got 9 stories left, and we've been going for an hour and a half. So we're going to do a little bit of rapid fire on these ones. Stormy should be taught in schools instead of Mozart to prevent exclusion, charity urges. Stormy should be taught in school instead of Mozart to prevent pupils from being excluded, a charity says. Youth musician and national charity endorsed by the musician and the presenter Mali Callas is calling for an urgent transformation of the music consortium. It said that schools need to shake up the way music is taught and exchange classical music for grime, hip-hop and electro with help from the music industries. Last month, the Telegraph reported that the school's exclusion for drugs and alcohols were at a 10-year high, with country lines to blame for recruiting youngsters to ferrying drugs around the country. I think you should teach all types of music. How's that? Why are we only teaching hip-hop? And let's face it, hip-hop is probably not the best of music to teaching kids. We got to cover this one. I'm sorry, guys. We have to cover it. New York Times, pregnancy kills, abortion save lives. Really? Because the way... we'll talk about it after. New York Times has launched a full-court press on behalf of the abortion industry with an op-ed titled Pregnancy Kills, Abortion Saves Lives. Written by Warren M. Hearn, who specializes in performing a late-term abortion, so no conflict of interest whatsoever. The article asserts that every pregnancy poses a serious health risk to the mother. Citation needed? Pregnancy always comes with some incredible risk of death. No, it's a very small risk of death, actually, to be honest. And that risk of death has gone down in the past 50 years because of medical. So I don't get why this is even a thing, but whatever. Whereas abortion can save lives, but there's also a risk of death with abortions. You get that, right? You probably have a bigger risk of abortion going wrong and killing the mother than, not to mention the fact that you're still killing someone. There's a baby that you're killing. If you want to start adding up the death total of mothers that die from pregnancy and going into labor and whatnot, and mothers that die from botched abortions, also adding in total of baby deaths, because that's still a baby, it's still murder. I would say that you probably have a lot more deaths on the abortion side, but regardless. In his essay, Ahern is reaching to the new Alabama laws that significantly limits abortion in a state, suggesting that what legislators are risking is life-saving procedures. It's funny because by the definition of abortion, someone has to die. Alabama's new law claims that it does not profit abortion if there's a reasonable medical judgment that pregnancy poses a significant health risk to the woman. Ahern notes that pregnancy itself poses a serious health risk, including the risk of dying and losing of all bodily functions, which is extremely rare. A woman's life and health are at risk of the moment the pregnancy exists in her body, whenever she wants to be pregnant or not, he states. For medical professions, Ahern's language is remarkably imprecise and even misleading. A pregnancy does not exist in a woman's body, a baby does. Pregnancy describes the state of carrying a child in one's womb, which is true. While Dr. Hearns notes the black women are more likely to die from pregnancy in Alabama than white women, he fails to mention that black women are also more likely to abort their children nationwide. Black babies are 3 times more likely to be aborted than white babies. Let's just call it now. Abortion is racist. Can we get 4chan on that? Pro-abortion giant Planned Parenthood intentionally target black neighborhoods for their clinics. What Dr. Ahern knows but does not say is that while pregnancies are rarely fatal, abortions always are. As a practitioner of late-term abortions, he has seen babies literally ripped apart. In a late-term abortion, the abortionist will typically pierce the baby's skull, inserting a catheter into the womb and removing the brain with suction, causing the skull to collapse, removing the baby through the birth canal, and scraping any remaining fetal tissue from the womb. Dr. Hearn wishes to describe the practice as life-saving, which is an act of barbarism. Whether you approve abortion or not, to make the actual argument that it saves lives, there is a very small percentage of mothers that are risk of death from pregnancy. Let's just look it up. Pregnancy death risk percentage. So it is. So 700 women die each year in the United States of a pregnancy or undelivered complications, right? But that doesn't tell you how many pregnancies there are in the US. So how many are in the US each year? So here we go, pregnancy statistics. So let's work this out. All right, United States. It doesn't say. This is a pay-to-view site. All right. So there were 152 million females in the United States. There were 6.7 million pregnancies in 2006. So let's just use that number, right? Let's be very generous because we don't know if it's gone up or down or whatever. But we have that number, right? So we have 6.7 million pregnancies each year. Right? Divide that by 700. Oops, sorry, 700 divided by 7. Less than 1, it's just over 1%. 1% is the risk. Hey Eric, how are you, buddy? That's alright, it'll be on VO on demand, so you can check it out. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's less than 1% or just over 1% chance of going through and having a complication from pregnancy. Regards to the 100% fatality on the baby on abortions. But don't worry, abortions save lives, right? Yeah, right, sure. Look, at the end of the day, he's a abortionist. He's someone who goes through and performs these things. I'm not surprised that he claims this shit. He's just factually wrong. It's an op-ed. You know, an op-ed, you can basically write whatever you want. It's your opinion on something. Doesn't have to be factual. And this is what they do with news. I find it disgusting that they would even try and push this. And this is the sort of shit that makes me want to go, look, fucking just ban abortions. It's crap like this that makes me want to go against the abortion debate. It really does. But yeah, guys, look, I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments section below. Alright, so GOP Fred Kellers wins Pennsylvania 12th District. Special election. Kelther defeated Democrat and professor at the Penn State University, Marcus Finberg, in a special election Tuesday. The congressional seat became vacant after former Representative Tom Minaro, who's a Republican, who easily beat Flidburn in the 2018 midterm elections, resigned less than 1 month into his term. So it was Republican, it stays Republican, so no real danger or loss or gain or anything for that, or for the Republicans or Democrats or anything like that. New York Department of Education, individualism is white supremacy. I'm going to record this one too, actually, while I'm at it. So in New York City Department of Education, individualism is white supremacy culture. Ah, cool. Yeah, cool. Sorry, Squirrel was just saying in chat. So the New York City Department of Education has instructed its teacher that objectively and individualisms are white supremacist concepts. According to a report from the New York Times, school chancellor Richard Kozaz gave a presentation about white supremacy culture in the lesson. Cortez claims that concepts like perfectionism, paternalism, and objectivity are part of white supremacy culture. Surprisingly, documents from Kozaz's presentation do little to tie these concepts to white supremacy. A graphic from Grozic's lessons explains why objectivity is a negative concept and can lead to the belief that there is an ultimate truth, that alternative viewpoints or emotions are bad, or even inherent in belief that there is such a thing as being objective, the card reads. The separate section of the graph explains why Kozov lumps individuality into white supremacy culture. This idea is found among people who have little experience of comfort working as a part of a team, which is a complete load of crap. It can lead to isolation and emphasis competition over cooperation, the graphic reads, which still does not make it white supremacist, even if that was the case. Some employees who have attended Croz's training sessions have claimed that they were labelled fragile when they defended themselves against the accusations that they hold racist prejudice. This good work, it's hard work, Croz said in a comment to the New York Post. I would hope that anybody that feels that somehow I process this is not beneficial to them, I would be very respectful, saying they are the ones that need to reflect even harder upon what they believe. I have some deputy councillors that are white, but have all incredible equal lens as well for making sure the historic unprecedented communities are being served, commas added. Stay tuned, blah, blah, blah. He's a commie. He's a progressive postmodernist nut. Yeah, where is Trip today? I haven't seen Trip. Satellite is I don't know where Satellite is, to be honest. Yeah, he's I think his sort of sleeping schedule is a little over the place. Oh, thank you, Squirrel. Squirrel just gave $2 with no note. Why didn't you put a note on there, man? Should have put a note. Guys, to be honest, if you want to support the channel, just sharing the videos is probably the best thing. Because at the end of the day, that actually helps us more than anything. But I appreciate it, Squirrel. Thanks for your help, buddy. As for individualism is white supremacy, they don't want people to be individuals. They want people to be a part of the collective, be a part of the hive, be a part of the Borg group. So that way you can go through and they will go through and tell you what you can and can't do. Stop your thinking for yourself, because that way you can just be drones. It's literally the Borg, you know. Resistance is futile, you know, sort of thing. Look, at the end of the day, I don't know. I don't know how, even if we manage to save society, I don't know how we live with people like this. What, you know, like, what do we do with people that are this far gone that they're literally claiming that individualism is white supremacy? Like, you know, I don't want to suggest re-education camps, but, you know, like, what do you do with these Marxist teachers? What, send them to New Zealand, maybe? I don't know, like, resistance is futile, yeah. But anyway, let us know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Beto O'Rourke spreads falsehood about Trump. So we'll start recording this one as well. Beto spreads falsehood about Trump in CNN town hall. Former Texas Republican Beto O'Rourke shared multiple statements during his town hall on CNN Tuesday night that were false. O'Rourke tried using the town hall, among other recent media hits, to jumpstart his campaign. If you need to jumpstart it, chances are it's not doing too well. Let's see what he had to say.
Rights within our own borders, promoting anti-Muslim sentiment, cheering on dictatorial leaders, etc., the U.S. has not only weakened its global status, but it has demonstrated that its own domestic partisanship is an interference to stable foreign relations. How do you plan to restore global trust in American leadership and American foreign policy?
Sarah, thank you for the question and giving us the opportunity to take stock of where we are in the world right now. This president, this administration, his policies here at home and abroad have been an absolute disaster. Describing those immigrants who come to this country as rapists and criminals, though they commit crimes at a far lower rate than those...
That's not what he said. Oh my God.
...who are born in this country. Describing asylum seekers as animals or an infestation.
He didn't call them that either. He actually called the MS-13 gang animals, but anyway.
Is how you might describe a termite or a cockroach, something that you want to stamp out, something less than human. You don't get kids in cages at the border until you have dehumanized them in the eyes of your fellow Americans. To try to ban all Muslims, all people of one religion, from the shores of a country that is comprised...
The Muslim ban that he's speaking about, it's not a Muslim ban. There's countries on that ban list that aren't Muslim. It's a terrorist-related ban. I can't help it, and I don't think Trump is responsible if it just happens that a lot of Muslim countries seem to be on a terrorist watch list. Maybe you should be looking into that more than worrying about what Trump says.
...to people from the world over, every tradition of faith, every walk of life. The day that the president signed his executive order attempting to ban Muslim...
Okay. So there's a lot of falsehoods in that. O'Rourke referenced a debunked claim that President Trump is in his answer to the first question by the audience member, describing those immigrants who come to this country as rapists and criminals, though they committed crimes that are far lower than those are born in this country, describing asylum seekers as animals or infestation. Infestation is how you might describe a termite or a cockroach, something you want to stamp out, something less than human, he explained. O'Rourke's claim that Trump referred to immigrants as animals was in reference to the statement President made on an immigration roundtable back in May 2018, in the full clip, Trump's remarks became clear. The president specifically called MS-13 members animals. The hurrah began when a shortened clip that cuts out particular comments about the gang went viral. Boy, imagine my surprise. The media is selectively editing things. Who is not shocked? Later on during the evening of the event, O'Rourke references the president's remarks following the riots in Charlottesville back in 2017. When the president calls Klansmen and Nazis white supremacists very fine people, he didn't. He said they were very fine people on both sides, which is true. There were people that were there to protest the statue only. There were not people that were there for alt-right purposes. O'Rourke alleged when conflates the words Representative Allah Halan, who happens to be a Muslim member of Congress, with the attacks on 9/11, stoking and Islamophobia and hatred, and yes, violence, you began to be able to explain the rise in hate crimes every single one of these last 3 years. That's because there's more people reporting them. Also, the hate crimes is also rising because both sides are doing it now. There is actually a lot of hate crimes coming in from the left. However, that's not what the president said back then either. Excuse me, they didn't put themselves down as neo-Nazis, and you had some very bad people in that group, but you also had people that were very fine people on both sides, which is what Trump said. Yes, specifically in regards to the people protesting the removal of the Robert E. Lee statue, which is exactly right. There were people there that were not there to protest. There were people there that just wanted to protest the statue. There were people there not participating in the rally for the alt-right. I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and white nationalists because they should be condemned totally. Trump added minutes later, which they don't want to report. In addition, but Trump-related inaccuracies, O'Rourke claimed that the US had been in Iraq for 28 years. On multiple prior occasions, former House representatives stated that the US had been in Iraq for 27, and even then the Washington Post fact-checked him with 3 Pinocchios. But O'Rourke's math for Iraq war left us fumigated. Fluxamord? I did give him that wrong name. He keeps mentioning 27 years in Iraq, which takes you back to 1992. WIPO's Glenn Kessler wrote last month, not only does this date not match any sense, but his comments specifically make little sense in the context of talking about service members who fight on our behalf. Look, at the end of the day, Beto O'Rourke lying with... Who would have thought? Yeah, not surprised. But, you know, maybe we need to start a Beto O'Rourke fact-checked website. Yeah, that'd be funny. Looney, AOC... Alright, so Looney, AOC, growing cauliflower in a community garden is taking colonialism approach to environmentalism. Now the Democrats are oppressed by vegetables. You can't make this up. You can't, but anyway. You can't make this stuff up, which is what I just said. But when you really think about it, when someone says that it's too hard to do a green space that grows yucca instead of, I don't know, cauliflower or something, what you're doing is taking a colonial approach to environmentalism, Alexandria Cortez says. We're going to play this clip because we need this.
Check this out. What are those, begonias? I don't know. What I love too is growing plants that are culturally familiar to the community is so important. If you look all the way back there, that looks like composting. It looks like they've got composting going on, which is so awesome too, because composting is really hard to do in a neighborhood like this. We just don't have the pickups and the ease of it that a lot of other communities have.
If it's so hard to do, how are they able to do it? Like, seriously.
So that's really how you do it right. That is such a core component of the Green New Deal, is having all of these projects make sense in a cultural context. and it's an area that we get the most pushback on.
No, you get the most pushback when you start banning fighting cows and banning plane travel, to be honest.
Because people say, like, why do you need to do that? That's too hard. But when you really think about it, when someone says that it's too hard to do a green space that grows yucca instead of, I don't know, cauliflower or something, what you're doing is that you're taking a colonial approach to environmentalism. And that is why a lot of communities of color get resistant to certain environmentalist movements, because they come with a colonial lens on them.
Oh my fucking! I'm done. I'm. This girl is stupid. She really is stupid. Like. Yeah, the animal comment was towards MS-13. Yeah, tell me about it. Yeah, we know. They're just But this is the Democratic Party. We have one who lies his ass off, who misquotes people and lies through his ass, and we have another one who sits there and claims that cauliflower is colonializing because you're not growing the right fruit or vegetable. You are claiming people are repressed because of vegetables. Seriously? I tell you, when you imagine like someone that's like 65 or whatever, right? Oh, son, it's such a hard life during the 2019, 2020. Oh, no, I heard all about it. But tell me about it, Dad. Oh, son, we got repressed by the fucking vegetables. Sorry, Dad, what was that? It sounded like you said you got repressed by vegetables. Yeah, son. Vegetables came and they repressed us. It was tough. We had to fight the vegetables. we fought them with cockpots and vegetable steamers. They were the weapons of choice. When we really got really into it, we started fighting them with boiling water. The vegetables were they had no choice but to give up after we fought them with boiling water and crockpots full of steamed water. Oh, Dad, what did you do? Well, son, after we killed all the vegetables that were repressing people, we went through and we steamed them and we ate them, son. It was like the Tea Party all over again. We fought the oppressors and we won, and then we steamed them, son. And that's how we won the Great Vegetable War. That's how we won the Great Vegetable War of 2019. Oh, Dad, who led this war? Oh, it was some vegetable that was called AOC. She was a senator. We won the war by putting her in a giant cauldron and steaming her. Because, she's a little bit of a... It's so stupid. It really, really is stupid. I can't believe people actually voted for her. I'm sorry. I'm done. I'm done on this topic. Let's go on to the next one. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Maybe we could make that in a cartoon. The vegetable war of 2019 or something. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comment section. Alright, so... Oh God, really? Yeah. I'm going to need chemo after this episode. Target sells LGBTQ clothing for children. Funding group whose founder praised NAMBLA defender. I wonder if there's a link. I really do wonder if there's a link between all this, right? So apparently Target American retail chain Target recently donated $100,000 to a non-profit whose founder has praised NAMBLA, which is a bunch of pedos, advocate and teaches students and teachers in school grades K-12 about sexual orientation, gender identity, and gender expression. So, son, tell us where the touch the teddy where the teacher touched you. The group Glennis was founded by Kevin Jennings in 1990 with a plan to be the leading nation education organization focused on ensuring safe and affirmative schools for LGBTQ, PMNIVBW, whatever, students. Jennings was President Obama's Assistant Secretary of State of the Office of Safe and Drug-Free Schools at the U.S. Department of Education from 2009 to 2011, where he continued pushing a pro-homosexual agenda in American schools. As a part of the government's Common Core initiative, GlenSec teaches elementary student children in grades 3 to 5 about gender identity and expression, a gender-neutral pronouns according to a lesson plan on their website. In 2019, Jennings was under fire for failing to report a 15-year-old sophomore student in his school who told him about his sexual relationship with an older man. The GlenSec founder was also criticized for praising Henry Hay of the North America Association for Man-Boy Love. Holy shit. Target's Executive Vice President, Chief Marketing and Digital Officer Rick Grimes happens to be on the board of GlenSec as promoted on the department's school's website. In addition to the generous donations, Target has started selling its own line of LGBTQ products, including kids and baby clothes. The kids' clothing includes rainbow-clad shirts reading, "Love my dads, love my mums, come out and party," along with other slogans. In the following video, a pro-LGBTQ woman goes through the products at her local Target store. Not everyone was excited about the clothing, as women in the previous video seen in the next clip, where a man films his local Target saying, "Letting your children wear that is insane." And I would agree with him. Look, at the end of the day, this sort of shit is why people don't want to accept the LGBT community. They're like, I don't have a problem with people that are gay, right? One of my favourite commentators is Milo, right? If you're gay, good on you. Go do you, whatever it may be, right? But at the end of the day, when they start pushing this stuff onto kids, that's when I get a problem. That's when I have a problem with it. And it sort of makes me sit there and think, okay, if this is what you're going to lead to, I don't want anything to do with it. I don't want anything to do with any of the stuff that you're going to sell. I don't want anything to do with this Target or LGBT clothing or whatever it may be. This just makes me want to turn around and say no to the whole homosexual community and whatnot, because it's indoctrinating kids, and I find the absolute thing disgusting. I really, really do. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. British Steel collapses into insolvency as Clark reveals potential buyers have already made contact. So, British Steel enters insolvency, putting 4,500 jobs at risk. So, British Steel, Clark potential buyers have already made contact. Officials receive support means company will trade on while buyers sort. No redundancy notice yet issued. Staff continue to be paid. Who owns it? How many jobs are at risk can be saved? why British Steel's private equity owners failed to get back on track. So British Steel has collapsed into insolvency liquidation, throwing a jeopardy of almost 4,500 direct employees and 20,000 positions in the company's supply chain. So that's obviously some bad news. And Michael Cohen says Trump attorney directed him to lie to Congress when Russia talks ended. Let me guess, it was an unconfirmed source. Michael Cohen reportedly told investigators that he was directed by Donald Trump to lie. Sorry, it was investigators that he was directed to lie by Donald Trump's lawyer, Jack Stoller, about the lifeline of Russian meetings that took place in Trump Tower. According to the transcript from the House Intelligence Committee, recent interviews with Cohen says he was told to give false information about when the talks around the building Trump Tower in Moscow ended to make it appear that they completed earlier than they did. The Hill reports that Cohen was interviewed on February 28th and March 6th behind closed doors to determine what he knew about the president and his associates' conversations with Russian and other foreign entities. The former lawyer and a fix-it for Donald Trump congressional investigators that he and So discussed making a false statement to Congress in order to make it appear that the talks regarding Trump Tower and Moscow ended in January 2016. Cohen said that he actually extended well into June 2016. Cohen testified in February that he believes that Skewer knew that his discussion went into June, but wanted to make it appear that they had ended sooner in March. Cohen testified that Skewer was suggested the January date. This has nothing to do with Trump. And look, are we really still going on about Russia? Really? No collusion, no obstruction, just bury it for the love of God. I'm sick of covering it. I find this devious at best. You want to prove it? Fine, I'll see the proof. But until then, I'm just anything with Russia. I'm just like, no, I'm not interested. I'm really not. Apart from that, guys, obviously, let us know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. That's going to be the show today. 2 hours, another 1 hour, 2 hour show, or 2 hour, 1 hour show. But yeah, guys, at the end of the day, look, let us know what your thoughts are in anything we've talked about. Any of the comments in the comments below, any of the stories, comments below. I got a splitting headache, so I'm going to go and take a whole fistful of Panadol. Apart from that, guys, obviously I want to thank everybody that has been here throughout the day. Everybody that turned up, everybody that sat through the whole show. As for my internet, I'm hoping to hear something soon. I thought that might have been them earlier, but it wasn't, so bummer. Before we go, Tommy Robinson's just put up a video. Let me see. So, see if it comes up in the search results. How to vote Tommy Robinson. Here we go. So we're going to play this on the way out.
Today is voting day. We need you. England needs you. Get out and vote. Your polling stations will be in community centres or schools. They'll have polling station wrote outside on big signs. If you go on our website, www.votetommy.co.uk, you'll be able to put your postcode in. It will tell you where you need to go and vote. When you go and vote, they'll give you a pencil to vote with. Bring your own pen. We cannot trust them. Bring your own pen. Tomorrow is the date you're needed. Let it be remembered. The revolution starts. It's happening. Send a message to every single one of them. When you write on your paper, my name will be at the very bottom under Robinson Tommy. Not Tommy Robinson, but Robinson Tommy at the very bottom. Put your mark on it, fold the paper in half. Don't write anything else on that paper. If you write one other word like traitor or treason next to any of the other political parties, your vote will be void. Now please, People of Salford, are we getting out tomorrow? Are you voting?
Do it right. He's got a crowd there.
All those moments of feeling alone. You're not alone anymore. We'll prove that today. You'll prove that today. The results on Sunday.
Eric, if you want to post a link to your stream or to your channel, you can do it in chat, man. And yeah, people can go through and follow you.
You've got to get out and vote.
Actually, if you post a link, I might even go through and follow you. I might bring you up on the TV in the bedroom when I go to sleep. So post your link, man. We'll check it out.
We need you. Make sure you do it. Come on.
There's only one question you should be asking.
So guys, obviously the important thing from that is do not write anything else on the actual vote. Just write the box. Just put the box down. And yeah, just put Tommy Robinson, just put a cross. Fold it, and that is it. And make sure you take a pen. Yeah. Eric, is your channel the one that's linked to this account that you're in now? Is that an Israel flag? Yeah, probably is. He's a Zionist.
There's only one question.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a Zionist. But anyway. I don't stream anything, but I'll share my YouTube channel link. Okay. You should stream that, man. You should stream it. Stream it to your YouTube channel. Or to like Twitch or something. Yeah. But anyway. Alright guys, apart from that, remember, go vote for Tommy. Vote for Tommy or vote for UKIP or Nigel Farage if you have to. One of those three. But yeah, let's get this. Let's get them into the MEPs, into the UK, into the EU. And let's send the political elites a real wake-up call. And remember, take a pen, because we don't want any of those votes to accidentally happen to change. Apart from that, guys, I will see you. I love you and leave yous. See you guys tomorrow. I'm going to go and take a fistful of Panadol because I got a splitting headache. Apart from that, guys, enjoy. Have a great night. Bye! Thank you, everybody, for turning up.